Welcome to the Season Podcast.
Welcome to the Seed Sauce Podcast. I'm your host, Mick Manhattan, and joined, as always, I am with my co-pilot on this magic carpet ride, the man, the myth, the legend, Paul. I want epic glow-ups of you, just intros every time. And then I just want to be like, it's Paul. Because Paul's a great name. Paul's a great name. We were talking about it backstage with Nat and Katie, and it is a great name. I didn't get to put my 2 cents in. I meant lots of bastard Pauls. That's one thing. But
Me too.
Paul's a very strong name, but I feel like it doesn't have that kick. You know, it's like Paul's a name you say when you're like, Paul. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not like Ron. You know, you don't really say Paul, you know, so it just fails at that. You fail at being somebody who can be cringed at. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, man.
It's good for me. It's bad for other people, though. Just means they let their guard down too well just when they hear my name. It's all good.
I love it. How's your weekend going, man?
Man, the weekend was good. Minus, we'll talk about later, you guys, but the movies I wasn't too fond of. But besides that, we had a good weekend. Just watched a movie, just kicked back, hung out. We pulled out the Halo, so we had a lot of fun with that. So
it sounds so much.
It was fun bringing that back. It was a lot of reminiscing playing the Halo. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't play Halo. I played Halo once years and years ago, the first one. Mm-hmm. So I would be completely dominated in it. I think it's fair to say that I'm not a good Halo player. I did try to watch the show. I didn't hate it, but I was kind of bored by it because I had no idea what was going on. But I get the love for it. It seems like a very cool game. Always have very cool graphics. I got caught up in the Halo early launches and stuff like that back in the day. I'm sure many people have. And you're one of them, apparently. So you've been playing this from the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just brought us all back. We all were back in high school yelling high school curses at each other and being idiots. It was beautiful.
That game came out after I got out of high school, so that's not NHL 96 though. You were all over it. And that's just 96 because 96 was one of the best years. We still played 95. We played it all. I don't know if it was live in 95. I'll tell you.
I didn't know what a game system was at that age, Mick.
Shut up. So by this time, every kid knows what that system is. They're like born knowing what that system is. So how dare you? Well, we have a very special show tonight. We're gabbing on a little bit, and we have great guests that we should be sitting here talking to. We have Katie and Nat back from the VHS Club podcast. You heard our announcer talk about him in the beginning. Really great guy. Pay him tons of money. Pay him everything I should probably be paying Paul, but he's worth it. He's getting paid as much as Paul is getting paid. I'll say that. I will tell you this. It is so much fun to have them back on. If you are not watching their show or at least going to listen, you're maniacs. So go check out the VHS Club podcast. They are a lot of fun. Talk about movies from the 80s and 90s. They go in depth with it. I love it. They have a very cool horror host vibe. And then we get you just kind of feel like you're part of the talk and fun when you're listening and stuff. And I love that feel of it. So we're going to bring them on here. Katie and Nat from the VHS Club. Well, they are the VHS Club. Welcome. Wait, how do we miss this? Did I mess this up? There we go. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that little thing right there. How are we today?
Great.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Thank you so much for joining us again for this conversation. It's gonna be a fun one. But I did go on about your show, but I want to talk about what some of your most recent episodes have been. What have you been covering?
Oh my gosh, what have we been covering, Nat? We did Batman. We did V, the miniseries, which was super fun. Yeah. I'm still reeling from that one. I have not yet finished watching the second part / its own miniseries. So I'm in that space. And then we did Batman Returns, which was fun.
Nice. I love
everything
it. Yeah,
before that is a blur. So it's just it's a fog. It's a Labor Day fog.
I really enjoyed.
Paul was talking about Twisters. We did Twister and also talked about the upcoming Twisters, which obviously is now out.
That was a great episode for sure. And I really enjoyed Batman Returns, even though I hate Chris O'Donnell in those movies. So a 37-year-old Robin does not do it for me. But I just it was a really fun episode. I have a soft spot for Batman Forever, and I think it's because of Dr. Chase Meridian.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
I was that age playing NHL 96. I'm just saying, like, so she was like beautiful vision and she's hanging out with Batman. So I had to try and become Batman. And now I podcast.
It is funny. We were talking earlier today about the fact that so Nat is up at her cottage for an extended Labor Day vacation, and every time you ask someone like what their favorite movie is, or you talk about an episode, it like links through to another movie that that person liked more, and none of them are the same, and there's we're going to be doing this show for forever, which is glorious. But it blows my mind. Like every time we try to make a list, we realize that we've left off hundreds of things that we love, and there are too many good movies, which is a good problem to have, I guess.
It is, and especially at that time.
Oh yeah,
there's so much nostalgia just driven into movies of those 2 decades that, like, I don't know how you're not going on forever.
Yeah.
You have enough to cover. Trust me, it will be amazing. And you have an episode coming up. It's Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Is that Central Standard Time or is that Eastern? Okay.
Yep.
So I should make sure of that.
I know, yeah, because you're our guest on Thursday. If you mess it up, we're going to be talking by ourselves, which won't be as fun.
I'm excited. This is one of my favorite movies that, and I have lots of like fun stories, just personal stories, if you want them while we're covering it. I don't want to give away. I know you've posted it, but I'll let you guys say what the movie is. But guys, I'm very excited. We have our Star Trek podcast, so. Here it is. That's all I'm gonna hit.
It's gonna be epic. I've been totally rewatching like all of the Star Trek, and I'm now into Discovery. So I've made it all the way into like modern Star Trek, and I'm like halfway through season 2, I think, of Discovery, and I'm just like, I just kind of want to go back and watch like Next Gen, and then like watch the movies. So this is a good break where I could just be like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna.
I'm doing that. We're doing that with the podcast. My son and I are watching. We started from Enterprise, and now we're actually going chronological order. So we stopped after season 3 of Discovery.
Okay.
Or season 2 after Discovery, and now we're actually. He was away for the summer at his dad's house. I'm his stepfather. Yeah. And he's back now, so we're gearing up. We just recorded our episode of the animated series. We're on the motion picture.
Perfect.
And we're going to watch the movie before Thursday, so that way we can watch it together. I'm super stoked.
Yes.
Did I just give it away?
No, you didn't say it.
Okay.
No.
You said the movie.
We're also just not going to say it. It's just going to be like, if you like Star Trek, Thursday night at 9 p.m.
I know which one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an even number. Trekkies will know what that means.
True. I'm right there with you. But guys, we're going to talk about best friends in movies, and that's a great segue to do it because Kirk, Spock, McCoy. Now we're going on. So I really wanted to get into the idea, and especially from the idea of the 80s and the 90s, especially because I feel like that was a huge friendship movie era.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. It's coming of age tales all over the damn place.
Yeah.
Let's start with this question first. How do you feel that overall friendships are portrayed in movies? Do you think that there's a little too much drama? Do you think that it goes a little too all over the place? Now, we're going to peg which movies we think get it right. but just an overall, I want to go through round robin. We'll start with Paul. Paul, what do you think, sir?
I do think they emphasize a lot of the more dramatic things and comedic elements of movies. I mean, to make it better for us as viewers, which they have to do, because my life isn't funny all the time and it's not drama all the time, even though it seems like it majority of the time. But I think for the most part they do get it right, and I think the parts they get right is the parts of endearment. The parts of us enjoying being with each other, the parts of joy and celebrating challenges and maintaining those friendships through those challenges and being there for each other. I do feel like they do capture that very well. That at least across the board. But as far as the drama and the comedy, I don't think anybody in real life has that much comedy around them all the time or that much drama going on nonstop.
Listen.
Depends on the day.
That depends on the day. Yeah.
That was actually this past week has been kind of that both comedy of errors and just errors.
Yeah.
No, I'm just well, okay. So let's keep going around. Katie, what do you think? What are your feelings?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think my favorite part of kind of friendship as a category throughout the 80s and 90s are those coming of age, like friend group movies, because I just feel like they're so relatable. And maybe so much of it is nostalgia, and that like we grew up in that, and Nat and I grew up in that era. And so like it was, you know, as Paul was saying, a more kind of extreme version of it. So obviously, like, for sake of plot and interest, there's, you know, there are things happening that we were not discovering bodies or walking on you know, train tracks for hours or whatever else. But I think that there is like something that's really relatable and something that really spans the test of time in those kinds of like friendships that you had as like a kid through teenagerhood, and how those are really different than adult friendships. So like the second you guys mentioned this topic, I was just like, oh, like kid friendships and teenage friendships were really the immediate kind of first thing that I thought about. I probably can't even off the top of my head name any like adult friendship movies other than the gif of like, did we just become best friends from Step Brothers? That's like the extent of it for adult stuff. So yeah, I think they did a really nice job, but I would agree that it is certainly amplified, you know, for a viewing audience to make it a little bit more interesting than your everyday friendship.
I like it. Nat, how about you? What do you think?
I think they do generally get it right. The only thing that I find, I guess, more that's not sort of accurate to real life is how easy communication is in friendships. Like everybody is very emotionally intelligent and able to immediately express some like deep, you know, existential thoughts that they're having, and there's just like immediate comprehension in communication and conversation. That's not real life. It's very few and far between that you meet somebody and like you can just have this seamless conversation about serious topics. So other than that, yeah, it's same as Katie. The list I sent her this morning when we were brainstorming which ones we wanted to talk about, immediately I like to think of, especially from the 80s and 90s, like those moments where friendships are kind of about to change. So it's like from elementary school to high school, and then high school to graduating to adulthood. So yeah, I always find those interesting to watch, and I find they help audiences navigate that experience, which is inevitable for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love that, and I love how you've all sort of taken more of a side on the younger,
yeah,
ultimately. And I do agree. I think if anything, friendships in movies are more than often enhanced. They're just exaggerated. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like they fall in really well. I think they get kids right, because I also think that in that moment, those are your best friends for life. But most kids' movies, even in that time frame, weren't friends. I mean, they showed like basically like we all kind of drifted apart. This is what happens.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of realize it. I always tend to look at adult friendships a little more with a little more strength in them in movies. And I think that's because they come off a little more realistic. And with kids, again, it's like it's very nostalgia driven. They catch all of the good times with friends. I do not think that kids movies do a good job with like the bad times. Like sometimes the bickering, but it's always comedic. Or something like that, or play for super drama. Not just the ultimate like I hate you, and then like the next day like I don't hate you, it's just man, or just kind of like go off and do your thing. That's why I like the adult and now relationships when it comes to adults and teens and all that. That's a whole different episode. That would be a whole different, because I do not agree on that instant. But like with adult friendships, and I see a lot of more just more realism in it. Like there's, you know, yeah, it can be really exaggerated, and it is oftentimes, but there's something deep rooted and more loyal about it. When I feel like the kids movies don't have the same loyalty. It's just more about like we're kids, we're friends, we're together, and we have each other's backs, which is awesome. But then when we get to the adult, I do love the loyalty aspect. You tend to see more so in, you know, and all genders and everything. So it's really well played, I think. But I think as we grow older and we write scripts and we're adults, we tend to write from that perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, or disagree. I just kind of drolled on for a while. I do have a good question.
Disagree.
Yeah, just agree.
I find it's like very few people are good at really capturing that youthful coming of age. Like there's John Hughes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like, and it's very Steven Spielberg, you know, like, but it's very few and far between that really capture that magic of childhood friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a
That
great
depict
point.
it well. Yeah.
I think the only one I would say right now that really did it well, or not the only one, but one of the ones that's really doing well and kind of showing kids, ironically, in a comic book movie, the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I hadn't even thought about those ones. Yep.
Yeah.
It's unrecognizable to me because like it seems like even the bullying isn't really bullying. They still all want to be friends. I'm like, high school is way different now. I'm glad.
I know, yeah, it wasn't the same as when we went to high school, but sure, that's fine.
Well, my next question will go around. I'm going to start with you, Katie. What friendship in a movie friendship, would you say is most resembles maybe your childhood friendships or something like that?
Oh my gosh.
And this is for everybody, so start thinking.
Yes, I'm glad I got to go first.
Katie and I have the same answers.
Yeah, we probably have the same answers. I mean, probably for me, it's closest to Now and Then. Totally different era. Did not grow up in the same era that they did, but in a 80s and 90s version of Now and Then. We had like a pretty close group of girls, and we did like a ton of kind of, biking adventures where we were off doing things that we probably shouldn't have been doing, and parents had no concept as to where we were, and there was all those kinds of like, deep feelings of, first crushes and, not sure what the future would look like, and really different strong personalities. And that's probably the closest to my actual experience.
I like it. We just watched that movie for Popcorn and Pints. Did not age the way I thought it would.
I still love it, but I'm sure that part of it is nostalgia, at least. So.
And Christina Ricci definitely did not grow up in Rosie O'Donnell.
No, yeah, what a disappointment, And
that's not even like a judgment on anybody's looks or anything. I'm just saying, like, they're two completely different people. You can even see it in the movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But how about you now? Let's go to you next. What do you think? Can't say Now and Then.
No, that was definitely like Katie's going to say Now and Then, so I have to find something else immediately on the spot. For me, I think Beaches with Bette Midler.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
I know we're not covering that one on the podcast because it'll just be an episode of me blubbering. To be honest,
that's a tough one. That was my grandmother's favorite movie.
Yeah,
besides The Sound of Music, which I hate, but I do like Beaches. I do like
Beaches is a powerful movie. It's like these kids, they're summer friends. So it's like they go to like the cottage or the lake or wherever it is, and they're friends every summer, and they see each other as they're growing up, and then but they always come back to each other, and I'm on location today at my cottage, and we have that sort of little cottage community, and everybody here I've been friends with since pretty much the day I was born, and we might not see each other for the whole year, but every summer when we see each other, it's like we're right back into that like amazing deep friendships. So yeah, Beaches for me.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Paul, I'm gonna guess what you're gonna say.
Okay.
I'm only gonna guess because I'm 99% sure that I know.
Let's hear it.
And I'll let you go before I do. But does it start with an S?
If I can start with high school, then 100% yes.
Okay. Well, you go, man. Whenever you want.
I would say high school would be more like, super bad. But I would say if I had to go younger, I would say The Boys, because I feel like that's the best depiction of me as a child. Because it was just a friend group that was scattered around. None of us.
Boys?
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking of the Eric Kripke TV show with superheroes that is far too violent to be a child representation of your childhood.
You never watched the movie The Boys? It's like super bad, but they're kids. They're in middle school.
Huh, I've never seen that one.
Did that
Good Boys.
come out?
It's
Good Boys.
Boys.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My fault.
I was like, oh no, I've missed a movie. What's going on?
Well, that's problematic. No, it's not really. It's a funny movie. It's an R-rated comedy. Honestly, if I was starting with high school, I would, without the video cameras and all the other crazy crap they did in that movie, I'd say probably American Pie. Just kind of like weekends partying with friends, hanging out, having a good time. More like that, not the insane not the really insane sexist antics. We've done some stupid shit though. I cannot defend myself from everything. But if I was gonna go kids, probably weirdly enough, Stand By Me.
Minus the dead body, I hope.
I did grow up in the
Jersey.
They were there. But no, it wasn't like that though. I wasn't going to search for it. He kind of heard them.
Oh God.
Oh.
I'm messing around. I just take it for his effect. I do it. No, but yeah, I'd say Stand By Me just for the, like, we go out camping on certain summer nights. We would go hang out, like get lost, and nobody knew where the hell we were.
Yeah.
It was wild times. It was always fun. So like, and that one reminded me of it because like we did have those conversations when we were kids, like this deep conversations about like, what do we want to be when we get older? It doesn't seem like it's going to be like that, and like some fears came out and stuff. So that movie to me was a great representation of the natural discussions between kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree.
Whereas Goonies is like the exaggerated, takes it all the way the other way, but it's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you want to be in when you're a kid.
Yeah, exactly. That's the child fantasy of like, this would be incredible. Yeah.
So do you think there's anything that can be improved upon in friendship movies, or how friendships are portrayed in movies? Anybody can answer. This is I don't have an answer for this one. I don't know what I would do.
I don't think I would change them, because even in a fantasy element like Goonies, like when we were kids and we watched it, it just made us want to be kid inventors. It made us try to explore like little home science projects and building tree forts. And it gave us that imagination, or that access to try and make it a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. I like that that's what Goonies did for like Katie and I when we were kids. And so I don't know if I would change it. Like, I know it is like fantastical and not necessarily realistic, but it gave kids access to a whole other realm of things that they might not have ever tried. Or like Stand By Me gives you access to conversations, to awkward conversations. And it shows you that friendships also, say like Empire Records, it is not really about necessarily friendships. It's like a day in the life of a record store, but it's kind of that age where they're all graduating from high school and leaving. So they're going to lose this group of friends, and seeing that before graduating from high school, it's like, I wonder if that's going to happen to us. And it kind of gives you that sort of subconscious time to prep and to get ready, because that's going to happen. That's just life.
Yeah.
You go to different schools, different universities, and move all over the world. So
to me, a double feature, when I talk about Empire Records, that really complements it well, that I think that this is where Empire Records would go if never closed down, is High Fidelity.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's just, they're going to be older by that point. Whoever's still around is going to be older by that point. Sort of jaded about it, but
I absolutely have my vinyl organized chronologically.
It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. Those movies are also too a representation of the writers behind them. So there's a truth to all of them, right? Like those by and large likely came to some level from personal experience, from personal friendships. So there is kind of like a magic in that. I guess unless you have like a really terrible writer, but the majority of ones we're thinking of are we're brought to life when we're created by people who largely are pulling in their own experiences to one way or another. Whether this is the friend group that they had, or this is the friend group that they really wanted and never had. I mean, a lot of these movies were like, oh man, it would be awesome to like have a friend group or have an experience like that, whether it was the situation or it was the people or or anything in between. So yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything I would change about them necessarily. But yeah, it's an interesting question.
Thanks. What about you, Paul? Is there anything you would change about it right now?
I don't know. It's hard because we have so many movies we love because of what they are.
Yeah.
It's kind of a vague statement to say I'd love to see more, but I'd kind of like to see more that touch more on realistic expectations, like things that are feasible, such as like The Outsiders or Stand By Me minus the dead body. Things like that, where it is, just ordinary people just hanging out, just getting to know each other. It doesn't need to be some existential thing going on that's out of the realm for any of us to experience. So I'd almost like more of a realistic problem in a movie, if that makes sense for a kid's movie. I don't know if anyone would watch it. I don't know if it'd be good. I don't even know if I'd love it, but in my mind, I think it could work. Same reason I love Blue Valentine, for instance. A lot of people did not love Blue Valentine because of how raw and emotional that one was. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's real life though. Sometimes you can love someone all you want, and if the other person's already cashed out, it's not going to work.
Listen, We already talked about relationships earlier.
Sorry.
Saving that for another. You chose Blue Valentine. We'll talk about friendships and marriage later. That's too depressing. God damn it, Paul.
You're welcome.
I do think that ties
I'm
back
not
into
thanking you.
Beaches, though. Like
Yeah.
Beaches is the one where it's like they have this fantastic sort of magical childhood growing up, but then when they get older, it's like one of them gets diagnosed with cancer, so they all get back together, and it's
Sucks.
and it
The adult
really
part
sucks,
sucks.
and it's
Oh, yeah.
super realist. It's super
Yeah.
realistic, and I mean, what other movie has made me cry that much? Maybe Braveheart.
My Girl. Stupid My Girl.
Oh,
There's
Stupid
another
My
friendship
Girl.
one that made me cry my eyes out. Really good friendship movie.
Hold
Really
on, I
sad.
forgot my glasses. Let me put on my glasses. I know, great choices. Not Blue Valentine, but great choice. I do want to ask before we go on to our top fives. I want to ask this. We're going to go with only adults because I feel like we stayed a lot on kids. Let's go over to the adult friendships. Choose one person in movie history you think you would make good friends with, and I'll kick us off. I'll start this one so you guys can think about it.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one person to be friends with, at this point in my life, this is such a tough question
It's so hard. I can't.
because I don't want to think. You don't want to think of anybody who's like adventurous because you're like, I'm not there.
No.
Yeah, 20 years ago maybe, but I'm not there right now. And I don't want to pick anybody younger than me because they're already out and doing things, and I want to enjoy relaxation. John Candy from Great Outdoors.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
I'm not doing the old 96 or anything, but I feel like we'd get along.
Kathy's got
Awesome.
your ticket, Nat. Do you see her in the chat?
Gareth.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's just obviously Jared.
exactly my answer. Gareth the Goblin King.
Oh, Radar, we miss you too. We're glad you're feeling better, pal.
Oh.
Thank you. Awesome fun. Thanks for joining in.
Hey, Matt. Oh man.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Like, because you can think of anybody. It doesn't have to be somebody who's known for being a friend or anything. Just any movie character you think you would make good friends with. It is a tough one. I bet Paul knows. What do you got, Paul?
Oh, I already know. Yeah, it's going to be Randy
go,
from
Paul.
Scream 1.
Oh no. Oh, that's
No
a
problem.
really good one.
Wow, that is a good one.
Randy
I
and I
would
would
also-
go back and forth.
Yeah, I would hang out with Randy. I would say, I mean, my dream, and then this probably also like crosses the line into the romance zone, but I would love to be friends with movie version John Cusack from virtually any of the like 80s, 90s movies, which I know he's kind of on that line between teen and adult in some of those, but I would even hang out with High Fidelity John Cusack.
That's probably the best John Cusack thing.
It's probably the best John Cusack. Real life John Cusack drives me crazy, so I can't like. It is a weird like he's just way too out there. But
Fair.
but movie John Cusack in almost any one of those roles, I feel like he's always like the like best friend that should have been a best friend, but instead is just like pining after someone. I feel like I could hang out with him.
I will tell you, the Goblin King.
Oh, you're awesome. I love it.
Kathy's
Oh,
right.
man.
Kathy's
Yeah.
the new BFF.
Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength, Kathy. The Goblin King, always.
I love it. What about you now? What do you got? Who's going to be your best friend?
Thelma and Louise had a great adult friendship. I mean, talk about literal ride or die.
That's legit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like, that's a solid, loyal, stand by you kind of friend. So Thelma or Louise.
Okay.
Either or.
You know, I feel like would make a good friend. Any Gina Davis character,
Any Gina Davis character, so true.
except the one in Blink Twice. Never mind. I just thought about that. Not that one.
Almost any Gina Davis character, yeah.
Oh God. Definitely want to be friends with those guys or her. Anyway, let's move on to our top fives, which we're talking about friends in movies. Doesn't have to be, it can be best friends, which I went with first, but I just put friends in movies because I try to leave the parameters open a little bit. Just in case anybody wants it. See, top five. I'm gonna take this off so that way my face isn't covered because Neil take it. Said everyone listening to the podcast right now.
Now they're Googling to see what the YouTube video looks like. Where's I?
Pirate movie, Gina Davis. Yeah, she was a pirate captain.
Cutthroat. Wasn't it?
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to direct Cutthroat Island and put it out and make no money on it. I'm saying
I enjoyed it. Was I the only one that enjoyed that?
No,
movie?
I liked Cutthroat Island a lot.
I didn't. You know what it is? Like maybe when I was younger, I did like it.
Yeah, I
But
haven't seen it recently.
since Pirates of the Caribbeans, I'm like, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But Matthew Modine hates that movie.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense.
I love him for it, but he hates it because he won't tell the story, but he had such a bad time with Frank Langella. So like we got to see him when he was in our town, like kind of presenting his movies and such, and like the story kind of came out. It was kind of fun. But let's start off with our number 5s. I'm going to go around again. I'm going to let our guests go first, but now I'm going to start with you this time. What's your number 5 for best friends? Did you have any parameters on your list?
No. Just basically movies that I liked. That made me think of friendship. And yeah, Thelma and Louise was definitely on it. That's one of the first ones that popped into my head. I was like, well, Friends. That's
Love it. It's a great choice.
That one, yeah.
Katie, what's your number 5?
Oh, I didn't rank them. I just dropped 5 into a bucket. So
I love it. Oh, I love that. That's your parameter. That's okay.
There we go.
Everybody
Yeah.
can come with their parameter.
All right. Well, I said earlier, but My Girl was the first one that I thought of when you started mentioning it as far as like inseparable friends. So I'll say that one first.
Well, they are separable, just so you know.
I know. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'll shut up. I'm sorry. Too soon. All right, Paul, what do you got?
So I went. My number 5 was The Town.
Oh, good choice.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good friendship. I don't know that they are good influences on each other, but
that's okay.
they help
That's
each
what.
other
That's
into no, not taking away from the friendship though.
No, you're good. So my parameters though were what I could take out of my friendships into movies.
Oh,
This is a problem.
Why is this a problem?
The Town?
What's
That's
wrong?
what you're taking out of this one? Like,
Is the FBI knocking down my door? You hear the
Definitely rob an
let me
armored
in?
car.
Like we're fine. We're fine. No one talk.
no one died. Ride or die.
This
Right.
is what I get for using a temp agency for co-hosts. I love it. All right. My number 5, I did have a parameter. My parameter is adult friendships who have been in the thick of it. Some sort of dangerous adventure. I feel like that's something that kind of will bond two friends together, any gender. But like I went with primarily men because I have a feeling I'm going to come back and do something like this top 5 list again, but I want to keep it separate the right way. So I have more content. It's the only reason.
Good choice. Good choice.
I don't want to run out. My number 5 is Riggs and Murtaugh. So Radar, good choice on that. I thought it was like they're always in the thick of it in 4 movies, and they became friends in real life. I got to put them on here. They did together what John McClane could do by himself. Anyway, let's go down to number 4. Nat, what you got from me?
The Heathers.
Wow, as friends? Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's about friendships. They're not.
That's a great choice.
Good friends. It's toxic friendship, but we need to see all aspects of it. You know.
I'm wrapping my head around it. I love it. I love that choice, and you're right. It never dawned on me to think Heathers when I thought friends.
Yeah.
So great choice. That's very cool.
I mean, it's like high school cliques and how these girls sort of all run everything and how you get sucked into it. And
toxic.
I mean, at different levels in high school and different cliques, like they all kind of have that sort of aspect, that sort of hierarchy in high school. And I just find the Heathers did a very exaggerated, very like parodied version of real life high school cliques. Dark, very dark.
Katie, did you go as dark? What you got for number 4?
No, I'm going Mallrats for number 4. So.
Heck yeah!
Wow, good.
Slash Clerks. I don't know. It's in there. It's one of them.
It has to be. It's the universe. I love it though. All right, I didn't pick them because like when I thought about the thick of it, I went with More Dangerous, and I shouldn't have. Like that's a great choice. Jay and Silent Bob.
I told you mine is random and it is a bucket, so it's totally fine.
That would probably be the closest to my friendships growing up.
Yeah.
Jersey Kid. We did the same crap. And I'm not talking about Jay and Silent Bob. Like we weren't that exaggerated. I'm talking like what's his name in it? Brody.
Brody, yeah. I spent all the time either at the movie store or at the mall, so it really is also representative of my
our actual life. Yeah.
Even like I would say, like my best friend and I, rest in peace, buddy. But like Clerks 2 and Clerks 3 were our like movies. They mirror our lives together so well because he even like died of cancer. So it was like, goddamn, Clerks 3. It's fine. Like it's okay. I'm just saying it more for effect of like, goddamn, Clerks 3. Stop following my life around, Kevin Smith. Because that happened first.
Kevin Smith would also make an awesome real life.
Yeah, Kevin Smith would be a great friend. Yeah. Real life Kevin Smith, I feel like would make a good friend.
Well, for me, I'd probably be Silent Bob too, because I never Oh, what you got for me, man? What's that?
So my number 4 was Project Almanac. I feel like it's kind of a slept on movie, and I do think they are great friends because they tag along with him going back in time and changing everything up over and over and over. And I think that's kind of my friend group. They always let me do really stupid things, would always tag along, and then at a certain point one of them would be like, we need to stop, and I'd keep going because I got to learn everything the hard way. But I think that's a great friendship in that movie.
Awesome. I love that. All right, my number 4 on this list is Trey and Ricky from Boys in the Hood. I thought it was a good one, a poignant one, and just a lot of emotion there. So I always like that friendship. All right, let's go around the horn. Number 3, what we got? Nat, start us off.
The Craft.
Wow.
That's great for shock value.
Hear me out.
I mean, it's a great choice.
It shows in sort of, I guess, through witchcraft, but it shows, like femininity, female growth, female experience in a very exaggerated way. Yeah. But the difficulties in the female experience, especially as a teenager. So so I thought it gave you like the different aspects of femininity through the coven, so it was an interesting watch, as also cheesy as it might be, but like it did have
I love that choice.
Yeah.
All right. Katie, what you got?
Again, I'm just going to be the happy to Net sad. I'm going Clueless.
Nice.
They almost ended up on my list too, but I wanted to separate it content. I love that though. Clueless is a great choice. Great friendships.
Yep.
Still has that same as Heather, like that sort of like high school. There's like a divide in certain areas and such, but they do it with a like more upbeat, non-suicidal way. So I will give them that. But I do love Heather's too. I just don't want to be friends with any of the Heather.
No, me neither.
Later was super hot, but also insane.
Yeah. True. And a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Paul, what you got for number 3, bud?
That one's going to be super bad. Oh, my number 3.
Oh, no, 3. I'm sorry, super bad.
3. It's super bad. And coincidentally, my tight group of friends, or ex-friend at the time, but it was McFarlane. So it was funny because McLovin in my group, his last name was McFarlane. So if you're watching this, Chris, you're welcome. But he's not. We're not friends anymore. But anyway.
I guess that's not accurate then.
No, they did stick together after
that. You can't choose that. Yeah, I can't choose that until it's my ex-friend. Reminds me of this friendship. Harold and Kumar are my number 3. Had to go with another Jersey movie. Been through the thick of it. If you've been to Jersey with your friends, then it's truly a bond.
Katie and I got lost on the Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah, we got lost on the Jersey Turnpike, and just
it goes one way.
we're from Canada, and we had no money, so the money was just like going down every time we hit one of those toll booths. I'm like, we're gonna die in New Jersey.
But I kept driving by the same toll booth. Even if we had to wait, so the guy finally was like, "You're lost. You're tourists." We're like, "Yes, please.
Help us, please."
He was really nice and he helped us out. But yeah, we had adventures in Jersey.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. They should have been there.
Triggered by yellow license plates. Still, I'm like, stupid Jersey.
I know. And they're very sharp letters and numbers.
Yeah.
Stupid.
No offense to Jersey, actually, it's just.
I live in Virginia now. All right, we are. So we were talking about number 3, right? Or we're starting on number 2.
Starting
Yep.
number 2.
Number
All
2.
right,
Yeah.
now what you got for me for number 2?
Number 2 is The Goonies.
Nice.
Good choice. Good choice.
Because as I said, it was so inspiring. And Katie and I always were trying to rig stuff up in the backyard
Oh, yeah.
or at the park. Or
Still every day.
Yeah. Really. I'm like,
That's the most dangerous town of all time.
Exactly.
People all over the place.
yeah. We even have a legend at the lake where my little cabin is that there was some old like Italian mafia casino, and when the RCMP came to raid it, got bulldozed into the lake. So like as kids, we literally were like trying to scuba dive in this ice cold lake in Canada to try and find like
So it was
bird
August then.
machines.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Goonies, because I'm like, yeah, it's fun, it's inspiring, and
I like it. It's a great choice.
yeah. And I
Perfect
love
choice.
Sloth. He's so cute. His little ears twitch.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I love that. Baby Ruth. I love it. Katie, what you got for me for number 2?
I'm just gonna build your next episode because I'm going with Pretty in Pink, which I know crosses the romance friendship line, but still best friends with love trapped between them. Awkwardly.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that's a great friendship choice. I think that's a better friendship choice than Ferris Bueller or The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Friendship choice.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
actually-
Ducky's the best.
Ducky is the best.
He does do a lot. In fact, if anything, like I would argue it, and I'm not going to, but my only argument would be that he was a better friend to her than she was to him.
Yeah.
Of course.
Which is
And
kind
that-
of similar to Ferris Bueller, which is sort of still in my bucket, but I'll find something else for number 1.
But he was cringy, and he shouldn't stop hitting on him. But you gotta have the quid pro quo. You know?
It was
Growing
the
up.
80s.
Growing up, Katie and I thought that Ducky and Andy should have ended up together.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
Still do.
Blaine is the name of an appliance. Why is she with him?
Yeah. I still feel that way deeply.
I love it. And no comment on that. I love it. Paul, what's your number 2, bud?
My number 2 got a little dark, but we went with The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh,
That's the dark?
that one came up when I was
Darker
searching.
than
That's
your
a good
other
one. That's a good one.
I don't think my other ones were that dark.
I want to hug you, Blue Valentine. I just want to hug you and be like, I'm your friend. Stop thinking about all these ex-friends and these people who aren't around anymore. That's a interesting one. It's a great movie, great friendship movie. It's I think that's a good representation of not my high school experience, but of the time, the high school experience that was going on. I didn't read the book, so I don't know how the book's tone is or anything like that, or where it takes place. But good choice, man. I like that. All right, let's. So my number 2 is Bill and Ted.
Oh, that's such a good one.
I mean, and they stuck together. They made 3 of those movies, in, like what, 40 years, and they stuck together. I'll give them that. So they get my number 2 spot, and the only reason is because number 1, I will be surprised if this isn't number 1 for most of it. But if it's not, I'll be happy because then I'll have had it. Nat, what's your number 1?
Empire Record.
Good one.
Yeah, because it's this group of work friends, and some of them are friends out of work as well, and they kind of all got each other these jobs. It's at that pivotal time when they're, getting acceptance letters into universities, and they're going to move away, and they know they're losing these friendships, and it's kind of like you don't want the music to stop kind of moment. And I feel like it's just something we've all kind of gone through, and how even in the thick of everything that's happening in that movie, they all come together regardless of the bigger issues. They come together for the small friendship moments. And I love that. That's what I like about it.
They all backed each other up. Yeah, and there's something to be said for work friendships too.
Yeah, especially then. I had a group. We worked at this clothing store, and we were like that. We were like at work on rollerblades in the mall, with headsets and walkie-talkies, and it was that kind of, I was always like, I'm working at Empire Records. It wasn't. It was a clothing store, but yeah, but it was that fun. It was. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Katie, what's your number 1?
So mine is Now and Then, although equal tie for Dumb and Dumber, which was mentioned in the comments, and Ferris Bueller, which you said. I struggle with lists. I struggle with lists. These are all good. Now I want to rewatch all of these. But yeah, Now and Then is certainly has to be on my list because, as I said, it just, I don't know, it hits me as like a whole experience, a whole vibe from my childhood.
I like it. Paul, what you got for me? Hit me with your number 1.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, good
Yes.
one. Call for the
Good show.
win. Good one.
Even though he turns into a zombie, he still keeps them
No,
around. Like they are
still
friends
friends.
forever,
Still
even after his
BFFs.
death.
That's true. He even tries to bite him.
Yeah.
Such a great one. 20th anniversary too. Good pick.
Mhm.
My number one is Sam and Frodo.
Oh, my husband
Oh.
actually mentioned that because I was like, there's no adult friend movies. He was like, Lord of the Rings.
That was
so
loyalty all the
angry.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Yeah.
Captain America, like Steve
yeah.
Rogers and Bucky Barnes are still like best friends
True.
forever.
True.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, and I
Yeah.
think we've put a dent in some really good ones. And in fact, I really like all of your lists because they're very different from what I think. I think mine are more in line with what you might hear most, like Sam and Frodo, of course, Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Maybe just those two. Riggs and Murtaugh. Somebody else said that.
Yeah.
So, but you guys have added definitely some flavor to the list where
We're keeping
it's
it
something
weird.
it's different,
The
and I like.
Heathers.
People should watch these. Watch Blue Valentine with a smile on your face, and thank
Ow.
Paul.
How?
How? Tell me how to do that.
I don't know. So it's be a psychopath, I guess.
Yeah.
That's your best bet. Well, I want to say thank you guys for joining in on this top 5, whether you're watching as a clip or you're hanging out, listening to the podcast or watching it. I want to thank you guys so much. Are you going to be, forgot to ask, but are you going to be joining in for the reviews of the movies this evening?
I have nothing to contribute because I have not seen either of those. We live in
Very-
the past, so but we're interested.
I love it though, 'cause that's how I keep up with it. So before we go and I let you guys go, I want to talk about the VHS Club podcast. Where can everybody find it? When are you live? And what do you got going on next? If you want to announce it or not, that's okay.
Yeah, we're the VHS Club Pod. You can find us at thevhsclubpod.com. We stream all of our recordings to YouTube, so you can come and hang out and contribute. Be part of our live studio audience, as we jokingly refer to them as. And our next episode is this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Mick is going to be on. We're talking about a Star Trek movie. You have to come to find out which one.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it should be a lot of fun. And we do take live recommendations from our audience too. So we actually only plan out the next like week or two in advance, and then we just whatever people are throwing out as ideas. We go with the flow.
I'm gonna bring one to you guys.
Perfect. We love it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna think about this and really curate it. I appreciate you guys coming on and talking and hanging out with us, giving us your lists and such. You guys are always welcome to come back on anytime. I love the VHS Club podcast. It's so much fun. But I'm gonna let you guys go, and then we're gonna jump on and do these reviews. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining in tonight, ladies.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Take care. All right, guys, we're going to start reviewing here The Strange Darling, because I have a feeling that's not our favorite out of the two. Yeah, let me set us up the right way. There we go. Yeah.
Perfect.
I love it. There we go. Do it like that. Oh, man. So Strange Darling.
Yeah.
It's an interesting movie. This is directed by J.T. Molnir. And actually, you know who did cinematography for this movie?
You told me, but I already forgot.
No, I did not tell you because I just found out while I was watching it. Giovanni Ribisi did the cinematography for this. So one of your other horror friends told you. One of your other horror friends that you talk to about horror.
It's that one.
Don't get in depth with. This is a movie that's a cat and mouse game with a big twist. It's unrelenting. It's vicious. It's wild. It's kind of all over the place. Not in terms of story, but in terms of where it goes. It's a pretty simple story, honestly. It's nothing too major. It's nothing we haven't seen before, going all the way back. Woman fighting for her survival from a serial killer. Or is she? We will find out. We're going to get in depth with it. We're going to start with a quick non-spoiler review, and then we're going to kind of lean into the spoilers if it goes that way. But I will put up a banner beforehand. If you have anything to say about the movie, please join in and let us know. All right, Paul, I'm going to kick us off because I had a higher rating.
Yes, you did. I'm sure.
I like Willa Fitzgerald, who starred in this movie. I liked her on the Scream TV series when she was on. I think she does well. She was great on Reacher, the first season. Her character even so called back to in the second season. I can't wait. I hope she does come back at some point. Every time she shows up, and she was great in Fall in the House of Usher too. That's one that I think a lot of people need to go see, especially watch with the horror. The Halloween season coming. The horror aspect of it is great. She does fantastic in all the movies she's in, her TV shows. She's just a lot of fun. She seems like a very down to earth type of I don't say actor because she's just playing a role, but she does down to earth really well. This and Kyle Gallner, who is the she's called the lady in the movie and he's called the demon. Don't get hung up on the names. There's a reason that they have those names, and you find out once you watch it. But Kyle Gallner, you might remember him. He was in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. He played the Flash on the Smallville TV series. He's been in tons of stuff. Very recognizable face. Very, 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 very recognizable mustache in this. I knew what he was right from the beginning. So the story is a one-night stand goes wrong, and then a woman's on her fight to survive as this man hunts her down. And we find out why. It is told in chapters, but it is told in non-linear fashion. So if you don't like non-linear, this is going to drive you crazy. I don't mind it. I'm a student at Tarantino, so it doesn't bother me. And this movie does it. It can, get a little drawn out at times, in my opinion, but it does a good job with keeping together like a simple story. You don't have to go too far, but it does bring the viciousnness all the way through. And I kind of like that aspect. Said my piece before we get into any spoiler elements. What's your piece? How do you feel about it?
So we walked out of it the first time we watched it just because we couldn't stand it. It was driving us all crazy.
What part did you walk out on?
Where were we at? We were at, well, you said no spoilers, so it's hard to say.
Well, how far into the movie were you?
50 minutes.
That's it? You were going to walk out at 15 minutes?
50.
Oh, thank God you said 50. I thought you were going to say 15. Like, you can't give
No. 50
minutes.
It's almost worse because we're almost at the end. Right. Well, like I said, I'd rewatch it for tonight, which is why my rating went up a little bit. As someone that I just love Tarantino. I didn't study him formally. I'm not you.
Fine.
I love how Tarantino does it. I did not like how they did it because I don't mind if it's non-linear, but I just felt it was too jumbled, and I feel like it was jumbled because if it had just been a start to finish movie, it wouldn't have done good at all because it wasn't that good. I in my mind, this is just me being a critic, I'm no one, but I feel like they jumbled it like that just to make it seem more than what it was and to make the movie seem better when it's not. Like, I think it would have been a better just straight to stream.
Okay.
So yes.
Well, let's give our
cinematography. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say cinematography, though. I thought it was beautiful. I loved how they shot it. I loved how it looked. I loved the colors. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's give our ratings for this. I gave it 2.5. Paul gave it a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Paul has seen it twice now. He finally finished it. So what was your original rating for this?
0.
A 0? You think this was a 0 movie?
It was a 0. I had to walk. Mick, I've never walked out of a movie. It's a 0 if I'm that bored and that this is so stupid and pointless. I had to walk out.
I mean, that's wow. I'm taken aback. Like I've walked out of a few movies. Like I have a 0 movie this year and I still stayed with it, which is bonkers. I mean, and I'm not putting you down for your that's how you went with it. I'm just relaying my feel. Like walking out of a movie. Now again, yes, you're not a student of Tarantino. I also have been practicing to be a filmmaker since I'm in high school. So right. And I knew what I wanted to do. So when I say that, it's not to diminish your take in any way. And you do have an opinion. That's a valid opinion. I just mean it like this is why I'm attracted to non-linears because I'm a student of Tarantino. I studied him. I love it. And he's not the only one, but Tarantino likes to take a lot of things from other movies. And I've seen all of them too, so when I say student of Tarantino, I'm a student of a lot of people,
right?
Because that's how he rolls. So, the nonlinear fashion in this kept me intrigued. That's why the walking out is so interesting to me that you did is because the movies I've walked out on are so slow, so dull, so boring. There's never a change. We never can expect anything to really happen. Like Solaris, I walked out on.
Okay.
Something like that.
See that.
Yeah, it's so droll and it's so boring. And listen, I've never reviewed it. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to write about it. I walked out on it. Once I walk out, and I appreciate you going back and rewatching. Once I walk out, I leave it alone. I don't review it because it's not fair. I didn't see the whole thing.
Right.
So, and now again, I know I'm going on, and I'm not making this more about you leaving. It's just fascinating to me that a non-linear piece like this that switches up so much scenes couldn't hold your attention, and you're a horror fan.
Right.
I thought this was better than Longlegs.
Yeah,
Maybe not as good as atmosphere or cinematography, but sorry, but I thought it was well done. Probably better.
I think it probably was better than Longlegs. I think Longlegs, I just had a higher anticipation because I had only learned about this movie like 3 days before it got released. Like Longlegs, I kind of had more anticipation. So like, it's probably why I didn't leave theaters, because I was like, oh, it's going to get good, whatever, or better. But yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just something about the dialogue was kind of too just too simple, because like I'd be sitting there and I'd be like blah blah blah, and then they'd say blah blah blah, then I'd be like blah 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 blah, and then they'd say the same thing, and it was just like I'm not a formal writer. Like, you guys didn't really give a shit about the dialogue, which I don't appreciate as a viewer, and I don't know if I can predict most of your script.
Spoilers up.
Boo.
Spoilers up. Go into it. I want to hear it.
I just thought it was fucking ridiculous. Like the safe word, man, that fucking bullshit scene. Like, they're sitting there in the van. I get they wanted to like make it intense. Like, I understood why they did the shot, that nice neon light in the background, and it did look beautiful, but that dialogue just fucking killed it, man. This back and
Why,
forth
though?
when he was trying to say, it just didn't make sense to me.
Oh,
As someone that's been in a lot of situations, it's just it wouldn't go like that. I don't know.
How do
It
you
just
know?
wasn't.
Spoilers are up now. I'm asking for a
Yeah.
reason. I'm challenging you, please.
I just don't know. It just seemed too sketch. Like, because at first I'm like, is she a prostitute? Is she not a prostitute? Like, where the fuck
Exactly.
is this going? Are they meeting up? And then it's like, okay, it's a role play thing. And then it's like, okay, well, that's cool. But
My goal is never to get you to like a movie that you don't like. If you don't like it, that's fine.
Mhm.
But if I can shed a different point of view on it, on why
Right.
certain things are like that, if I'm gonna. And the reason being is because that set up so much with that dialogue. All of her talk was to dominate his thinking.
right.
All he wanted to do through the rest of that was prove to her that he is worthy of a one night stand with her, but also that he is a nice guy. He is a good guy. And all of that was to lull him into doing that. So she'll do as he says, listen to him. She can beat him up, and then eventually, spoiler, kill him, because she is in fact a serial killer. That scene to me, especially when he tucks his gun and he in his leg, which comes into play later, but he snaps it closed.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like, that was like, she got him.
Yeah.
He trusts her. And all she had to do was talk about how, like, are you a serial killer? Are you going to kill me? Like, this is what I have to worry about as a woman. Like, and she delivers it. I thought she delivered it with such like a coy playfulness that when you get to the bedroom later and he's choking her, and it's a sexual act, everybody, just so you know, it's not a murder. Sexual act.
Consenting one.
Consenting sexual act. Yes. They're it's a consensual role play of non-consent is what they're doing in the movie. And so when he's really trying to get into it and really trying to do it for her. And you think he is like, I think it sparks really well because of that beginning scene where it's just him looking like he's hurting, and you saw her already. By the time you get to that point, like, and she's berating him, she never had any intention of being into it or sleeping with him.
Right.
This was all her ploy. And to find that out later when she gets to the old people's house. I just thought it was really well tied together. I thought it was such a visceral movie that turned things on its head, and to find out that he's a cop and she's a serial killer, and the only reason he's hunting her is not because he tried to kill her or she tried to kill him, because he realizes she's this vicious serial killer and he has to stop her. He does it the completely wrong way.
Right.
He's also trying to save face and such because, he was doing coke and he was doing the whole thing, but
fuck that scene. God damn.
Oh my God. That was Tony Montana right there. He was like,
I was like, are you fucking anyway.
Oh my God. When he's hunting around the house, just shooting all the trunks and such, and she's in one, and you're just waiting on this before you even know what she is, you're like,
yeah,
oh my God, this is vicious. I thought they did such a great job having her play off as the victim, where there were even times where I was like, I hope she gets away.
Right.
Knowing who he was. But she did such a good job manipulating the audience too.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. That's why I gave it a 2.5. I think it's worth checking out. I like Strange Darling. Paul, you still hated it.
I gave it a 2 after a rewatch, you guys. So I will say it does have a little bit more merit. I will say I think you could wait to stream it at home.
That's fair.
If you enjoy just cinematography, I will say, like I said, the scenes I saw, they were beautiful. I did like how they shot it, but the colors and everything, which is probably why it got at least a 1 added to that. And then the acting was the other point. But yeah,
I love it.
It's a stream at
All right.
home.
Yeah, I agree with Paul on that. It's a stream at home movie. It's not one you have to go to theaters for. I do think if for horror fans, this is one they should check out, though. I think they did a pretty good job with it. And let us know what you think. Sound off. You can sound off here or head over to the Discord. The only way to do that is be a part of the Patreon. That's right. Free or paid tiers, get into the Discord. We're also doing something to share with you guys right now that I think you'll really enjoy. I'm going to let you guys, as patrons, free or paid tier, like I said, choose my Halloween horror list.
Ooh.
31 days I got to watch horror movies, and you guys are going to choose them. Go over to the Discord, go over to the Patreon. It's down below. You click on it, you follow for free, and the rules are all over there. And then we'd love to have you. Honestly, like, it'd be just great to have you over there. But let's get started on. You want to talk about Deliverance?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can see how excited you are for that one too. First of all, I heard somebody say in a review, there's like everybody knows Aberta, Glenn Close's character in this movie. And I'm going to tell you right now, not only do I know Aberta, there's like 2 or 3 in my family.
Oh, damn.
So like I knew Aberta well, and Glenn Close nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did such a great job playing this up. Didn't know it was Glenn Close right from the beginning. If you're looking at this poster while you're watching, that's Glenn Close in the top right-hand corner. When I saw this poster, I thought that was Jada Pinkett Smith.
I can see that.
I was like, is she in it? Just the way like this light is shining, and it looks like a very same complexion type of skin, and she has like very sharp eyes. So like seeing this, I was like, oh my god, that looks just like Jada Pinkett Smith. Watching the other 3 in this movie, Audra O'Day, Monique is in it. I can't think of her name. She played the exorcist in it in the movie. Yeah, I got it right here. Let me look her up real quick. Lee Daniels directed this movie. So to give you guys kind of a rundown while I'm looking that up, this is a movie that is based on, if you heard about the Demon House, Zach Baggins from Ghost Hunters bought this house back in the day. There was a mother with like 3 or 4 children who was being terrorized, and she said that it was a possessed house. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to try and understand what the real story is. This is loosely based on that. This has a lot of supernatural elements. I'm not going to say there were no supernatural elements in real life, but there was a lot of abuse towards those kids, and it's conveyed in this movie. So all I'm going to say is, all I hope is those kids are all right. You know, but with that on top of it, it's Injunu Ellis Taylor. I've seen her in tons of other stuff too. They all did really well in this. They all did a really good job. Acting was on point. I thought the atmosphere of it all was very cool. Cinematography was really nice. Sound design was amazing in this movie. I thought it was fantastic. Some shots from far away looked very cool, very Exorcist-esque. The Deliverance is basically what they call an exorcism. It's not the Catholic Church. It's another church who this family is part of. And so that this family starts to be affected, and these kids start to be possessed, and so does the mother, and that they have to go through and they have to try and help them and save the day. This was, I don't know how much spoilers there's going to be, but I'm going to throw it up just in case. And since I'm throwing that up, let's just give our ratings for this one. I gave it a 3.5 out of 4 out of 5.
Woo!
Did you give it a 2?
I gave it a 2.
Now, why did you give it a 2? I'm anxious to hear this one.
Did
you walk out on it?
I had an attempt to watch this 4 times before I saw it the whole way through. His first 3 times I fell asleep because it was boring.
I have no idea. No, I got to say this. I have no idea what you like in horror movies. I think
it ain't this.
I think you just like The Thing, which still makes no sense to not liking this. It's a very slow burn, drawn out movie that eventually grows. It reminds me more of The Thing than it does The Exorcist. And you somehow still hate it. Yeah. I'm talking too much. Please tell me why you hate this movie.
I don't know. I couldn't buy into it. And then when I realized, it was kind of, a demon house-esque, like, it just seemed like that. I was like, okay, so it's going to be them kind of demonstrate, like, making up shit. All right, cool. I don't know. I think I said it between us, in one of our messages. I just think I'm burned out on Exorcist movies. I think that's what really flickered out with this. Like, it needs to be very different, or that to be such a almost minute part of an exorcism type movie that I'm going to enjoy it, such as Late Night with the Devil. Like, there wasn't even an exorcism there, but if you're gonna have some possession, I need something different, or that to be like almost the last thing on the docket, because I mean, you already know how the formula is gonna go. It's gonna be slow possession, get help from the church comes, church gets it, everyone's hunky dory. It's just, I don't like, even the Conjurings I'm kind of burned out on because of this. So
but that's the thing I like about this. It was very different. Nobody was coming to help until this woman was spying on them.
Right.
If she didn't have any of that, like, to me, this was so close to, was it Father Meriden from the first one?
Yeah.
Who came not just because he was a great exorcist, which whatever that means, but he came because he knew what to do. Like, she knew what to do. And I thought that it paralleled well that she even dies in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
She gets killed off real fast, the exorcist. And then the mom, and like what she has to go through with her trauma being used and stuff like that, and like what she has to overcome. This made more sense to me. This to me was closer in tone to Late Night with the Devil than almost all exorcism movies I see coming out, where they miss the mark, where they don't understand what's going on. How's this? This may be based on a true story, but it is truly dramatized. It is loosely. Lee Daniels takes a lot of liberties, and I'm glad he does, because I think it made that more interesting. For me, I really did enjoy this movie. This is a knockout. This is going to be one that I will watch again. I love the interactions between the characters. The kids were all fantastic. What's his name from Stranger Things plays the oldest son in it. The young kid did such a great job. It scared me when they were going through that stuff, and to a point. Like, I've seen enough of these things where it's not really scary, but it scared me in a way that like Late Night and the Devil still did.
Right.
And that's why I was so surprised you didn't really enjoy this movie. But like in our friend group, Paul, you're like the only one who didn't, which again, to each their own, and that's fine. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, I don't know why I said it with such infliction. Like, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging your take on it. It just surprises me because of things we've talked about in other movies and how much you love Late Night with the Devil. You see no parallels between those two movies. And like, yes, both very stylized, both very different type of movies, take place in two different worlds, two different areas, two different times. But I'm talking about like the idea of using exorcisms in the face of mental health issues.
Right.
And how the demons, when it is a real exorcism, are exploiting all that trauma.
Right.
That is making things way more interesting. That's why but I'm also in the rare few that really like the end of Late Night with the Devil. I thought that added more gravitas to the film, where a lot of people didn't like that. So what do I know? But guys, Paul, you got anything else you want to add about The Deliverance?
I think I'm glad it went straight to stream. I would never say don't watch it. And this one, it's still a 2, so that's not a bad rating. It's not the worst. So, if you want to see it, go ahead and see it. If you're in the mood for an Exorcist movie, I guess watch this one. It's better than Believer. I'll tell them that, at least in my mind, because I didn't really care for Exorcist Believer that much. So I'd say this was at least better.
No. I do not like it. I want the world to know right now. I do not like exorcism movies. For me to have a year where I liked 2, and so far I've been watching Evil. So these 2 exorcism movies that I liked, and that's 2 in 40-50 years. I'm like, oh no, I like the third Exorcist movie. And Exorcism of Emily Rose is pretty good. But I didn't like the courtroom aspect of it, and it was very faked within the courtroom. I was like, you could have done this better. But regardless of all of that stuff, and the reason I say is because I actually followed the court case. That was kind of a big deal. I was like, demon possession? Yeah, I'm going to watch this one. Court TV, baby.
Hell yeah.
So when with this movie, like, this is the second exorcism movie I've seen this year. I really enjoyed it. It's only one of maybe a handful of exorcism movies I love. It's a subgenre I don't really respect. I don't think gets it right. But watching these 2 movies actually made me start a TV show called Evil, which is about demon possession, things like that. And like, they go out and do that for the church. So maybe I'm turning a tide if these can keep this up and keep doing good ones. But if you keep listening to Paul, I'm never going to like it. All right, let's go on a mixed movie pick. That's right, mixed movie pick. Thank you for watching our reviews, by the way. And if you watched them as a clip, or you watched them hanging out or whatever, on the podcast or listening to it, we appreciate you. But my mixed movie pick for this week is from 1959, and that is Some Like It Hot. That's right, the movie Some Like It Hot, the Billy Wilder film, which if you don't know who Billy Wilder is, then you're missing out. He has made some of the greatest movies of all time. He's not only just one of the greatest directors of all time, but he is one of the greatest writers of all time. Absolutely. And this is one of his pinnacles. This is a great movie. This is about Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis. They play bandmates who witness the mob kill somebody in a hit, and then they have to go on the run, and they go on the run in an all-girls band by dressing up as women. And then they start having a lot of antics ensue. Marilyn Monroe's in the movie. She plays one of their bandmates and a love interest. I'm going to get in depth with it. You can go check out the Classic Film Review where I get more into it, and you can see the story. You can see some behind the making of and stuff like that, behind the scenes stuff. So go check that out. That will be available on the Scene Snob channel. The only way to do that, stay at like, maybe comment, hit subscribe, be a part of it. And also make sure to join up on our Patreon. Like we said, we are going to be doing more giveaways. It looks like very soon we'll probably be doing the Beetlejuice popcorn bucket, maybe more. We shall see. But I will say this, if you want a chance at winning that, you are absolutely going to need to be there to do it. So with that being said, go check out Something Like It Hot. Go like, subscribe, and follow the Scene Stomps channel. Go follow us on Patreon, either for free or join up on one of the paid tiers. You can be a part of it. We'll be doing giveaways. We're going to be doing, we're doing right now, like I said, pick my list, pick my Halloween list. There is a set list. There's some parameters and rules on there. You got to go over to the Patreon and check out the post and see that. Any questions, please let us know. And thank you again to our sponsor of the show, StubHub. We appreciate you. I get all my tickets. Just got my AJR tickets. I was going to go see Bruce Springsteen, but my sister is in town, so I couldn't go see him. But I would have gotten him on StubHub. Use our link down below. It helps us go a long way. We appreciate you. Helps us keep the show going, stuff like that. So does the Patreon. But before I outro on this, Paul, you got anything you want to add, buddy?
It's Suicide Prevention Month or Awareness Month. So you guys, if you need help, seek help. We have all the links below. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm usually up the majority of the day and night. But yeah, if you need to talk or you know someone who does, try to encourage them to seek help or help them as much as you can.
I love
keep
that.
watching, keep listening, keep loving the magic of movies, you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you. And that is going to be your job to remind everybody. But it's not that we'll forget. Down below in our description, we always have mental health resources that you can go and look and see if you can find something. If you need more, message us, thescenesnobs@gmail.com. We can send you some more. Please, if you need help, there's nothing wrong with getting it. I love that, Paul. That's Paul's message. That's my message as well. Suicide Prevention Month. Talk to somebody first, of course. But before we go, next week episode, we're going to New York. It's a hell of a movie town. We're going to be talking a lot about New York City. We're going to talk about Broadway adaptations in New York. We're going to talk about so much more. Also, we will be reviewing Beetlejuice. And I forget what the other movie is for next week, but pretty sure it's going to be an interesting one. Oh, it's Beetlejuice, and The Front Room. See, I try to pick more horror movies for Paul, but he's never happy. He walks out on them and he hates them.
I won't with Beetlejuice.
That's the one he'll like. But anyway, thank you guys so much again for joining in. Make sure you join in for that next week. We are Mick Manhattan and producer Paul from the Scene Snobs, and we hope that you will join the Snob Nation. Be a part of it because we love movies and we know you do too. So be a part of the Snob Nation. And until next time, remember to take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I don't know, just be great towards just be excellent towards one another. We did best friends. I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to end off with tonight.
Yeah.
Be excellent to each other and have a good night. Take care, everybody.